Well, the No Kings protest happened this Saturday. A lot of people showed up. Was it violence? No, it was peaceful for the most part. But the Democrats are using it as their ploy to go after the MAGA people for some odd reason. Cattle prices have been going through the roof, up 6 to even 15% for some types of beef that we're looking for. Are there alternative? Is there an answer at the grocery store for America? We're going to talk about it. And Colombia right now has just been cut off. Big Daddy said, we're not giving you any more money until you get your house in order and stop with the drug cartel funding into the United States. Stick around. You just might learn something. Well, the No Kings protest happened over the weekend, and it was great for the most part. It was peaceful. That was great. There was one individual that I put the video out there. They were screaming and shouting to kill the ICE agents. Take a look.
You gotta grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on this fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out.
So you're going to get guys like this all the time. That's just who they are. They're instigators. They're people that are going to rile up the crowd. And you know what? You can complain all you want and say it's just bullshit. It's not really happening. There's just one person. It's just a isolated incident of an individual that's probably saying the wrong type of rhetoric. But you know how many people he needs to get to influence to do any harm? Just one. That individual just needs one person to take him seriously and to go kill ICE agents. That's terrible. The responsibility falls on the Democrat Party because they continue spreading that BS rhetoric all day long. Every news source says it. Every social media post says it. They are the party of violence. They want to act out. That's why Donald Trump got his ear shot. That's why Charlie Kirk got his neck blown out. That's why the ICE agent building got shot up. And we've had violence after violence after violence from the left. Because they say these types of things like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, it's okay, it's just an isolated incident, that's okay. He doesn't really mean it. Yeah, I think he does mean it. You don't say things unless you absolutely mean that. In real retrospect, there's always a little bit of truth in everything somebody says. There's a little bit of truth in everything somebody says. And the problem is it takes one lunatic to act on that and feel like it's a call to arms. And they go out and they promote violence. And then the other people on the other side are listening. They go get the guns. They make a plan. And they think they're being heroes to their side of the party. And all of it needs to stop. Yeah, there's some people on the right that are a little bit extreme, but you don't really see it. You don't. And if you see it, let me know, because I haven't found anybody that's a serious participant on the right that is calling for any type of violence whatsoever. You just don't see it. We're responsible. Most people on the right that actually own firearms are very responsible with them. Sure, you're going to get individuals that are going to act on both sides, but let's be real. The last 14 or dozen incidences or so that's happened in the United States over the last couple of years has been somebody that's been on from the left. That's been proven over and over again. So either the rhetoric needs to calm down, or we got a serious mental health problem, which I think that's both of them. But when you tie the mental health issues with these people to the rhetoric that they're spewing, hateful rhetoric at a rally like that, to fire up people, to kill innocent people that are just doing their jobs. ICE agents are just doing their job, man. They have mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, wives, children, just like you and me. But you want them to be killed because they're doing their job? That's too bad that people do that. I feel sad for America sometimes when I see that. Because in reality, they're just like you and me. If you didn't know who they work for, you probably have a beer with them at a bar. But calling for violence to be acted upon a federal agent for just doing their job, that's why the left loses their arguments over and over again, and why people are leaving the Democrat Party, because they're tired of that. Americans can see through all that BS. America can see that the problems that they are causing. Americans can see what type of incidents they are perpetrating, who they're going after. And the entire time with this No Kings protest, you know one thing we didn't hear or discuss? You didn't see it on the news anywhere. The shutdown. They didn't talk about the shutdown, not once. All they cared about was trying to make Donald Trump look bad. That's it. And they didn't do it because we don't have a king. We've never had a king. We vote for our president. We vote for our Congress. We vote for our Senate, our city officials, state officials. It's not a monarchy. It's not American citizens that are voting for these people to be put in office. And every 2, 4, 6, 8 years, we vote them in again. Yeah, I think it's a little funny to do a No Kings protest, but they don't care because they didn't talk about the shutdown. They didn't talk about the people that aren't working right now, that are furloughed, aren't getting a paycheck. You've got Cory Booker and Adam Schiff posing in a photograph together, talking about this is what unity looks like. How about you go to work and try to open up the government and start voting to get that happening? Because we need 7 senators from the Democrat Party to open up the government. Because every single Republican has voted to keep it open. Every single Republican congressman, every single Republican senator have all voted 100% to keep the government open. But you know who hasn't? The Democrat Party. Because you need 60% in the Senate. So those 2 senators, they could show unity right now, but getting in there and say, hey, we're gonna vote to fund the government, keep it open while we negotiate further. So the whole No Kings protests was about Donald Trump and how he's acting like a king, which he's not. He's actually working his ass off. The guy doesn't sleep. The guy is doing things every single day to make our country better. And you people can't see that. And that's unfortunate. Because if you just sat back and looked at the whole picture and see what was actually going on and took away Donald Trump's rhetoric as well, took away the things that he says, things that he tweets once in a while, and just looked at what the man was doing to our country and doing for the people of the United States, you probably look at it a lot differently. But you get riled up by people like that saying horrible things about ICE agents, about getting guns and killing them, that you don't see all the other shit that's happening that are actually positive for this country.
It certainly is a big bun.
It's a very big bun.
Big, fluffy bun.
It's a very big, fluffy bun.
Where's the beef?
Now, if you've looked at your grocery bill lately and thought your wallet has just been branded by a cattle prod, you're not alone. Ground beef right now is up $6.10 a pound, up 45% from a decade ago and just 8% this year. So what does that mean for America? And what does it mean for the beef? We have shrinking herds, drought, trade wars, and tariffs, and maybe a little bit of magic from Donald Trump because he's trying to work on it to get it better for us. So the reason why beef is so high right now, we're down about 86.7 million head of cattle. We're down about 86.7 head of cattle. That's the lowest since 1951. Beef cows alone are 27.9 million. Ranchers have been culling since 2022. Feed costs are up, margins are thin, and Mother Nature is cruel. Rebuilding all of that takes about 2.5 to 3 years. And the prices are showing, and everybody's complaining about the beef. Fed steers are $201 per hundredweight, up from $187. Feeders are up 9%. And Dr. Sarah Thompson calls it a decade-long cycle that's hitting rock bottom. So fewer cows today means higher prices tomorrow. And your burger that you buy is picking up the entire tab. So from 2021 to 2022, the Great Plains were baked dry. They had a lot of heat. Texas lost 15% of its pasture lands. Feed costs rose 50% since 2020, and corn and hay turned into pure gold. Every 10% jump cut herd retention by 5. So every time feed went up, ranchers lost more cattle due to the increase in feed. And COVID didn't help much either. We had a lot of plants that had closures, the labor shortages, and you got a perfect storm of why the beef has gone up. Imports rose 16% to 5.38 billion pounds, but that barely patched the hole from the United States. Americans eat about 59 pounds of beef a year. That's 3 burgers a week. High demand and low supply is going to equal high prices in beef. The trade war and the tariff entanglements are a little bit of the problem as well. In April 2025, when Trump slapped tariffs from 10 to 76% on imports to protect the ranchers, Canada and Mexico took a 25% hit. Then Mexico had a huge problem with the screwworm breakout, and their feeder cattle were down 30%. The result is less lean beef for ground mixes. Ground beef is up 3%. Steaks are up 16% since last August. China and the EU fired back with a 34% tariff on US AG goods. Economists call that a zero-sum game. So it was like an even Stevens between us, the imports, and the exports with our beef. And then we had such a problem hit with Texas. This is why we're having shortages right now. Patriotic underscore is going to be like this. So this is what the United States is doing to work on it. They're going to do transparency. The USDA's cattle contract library forces big packers to produce their real pricing. The resilience grant, they're going to grant over $1 billion to boost small processors. And the biosecurity, a new sterile fly factory to kill the screwworm. And traceability, they're going to put electronic ID tags and stronger salmonella rules on all the cattle. And so the other day, Trump announced we're going to be buying beef to bring down the prices. The market's kind of spiked a little bit for optimism, but maybe it's just a little sizzle on the grill right now. The USDA projects imports up 16% by the year end, herd stabilizing in 2026 if weather cooperates. But tariffs could add 50 cents per pound by the holidays. Here are some things that you could do to try to alleviate the beef problem. Okay, you can swap for a little pork and chicken, because chicken is down 5%. You can buy directly from ranchers or CSAs and save about 10 to 20%. So those commercials you see on buy directly from the cattle guys, the ranchers, start buying directly from them and you're gonna save about 10 to 20%. Restaurants offer smaller cuts and dual protein, you know, beef and chicken. Ranchers, you can apply for those USDA grants and upgrade your operations. And the USDA pegs 2025 production at 25.8 billion pounds with a rebound by 2026 if the rain returns. Consumer confidence is down to 55. Inflation around 4.6%. There's a rancher that tweeted that tariffs actually helped his margins, but killed the beef sales. Fix the screwworm. So we got a problem with infestations, and they're working on that. So cleaner facilities, upgrading the plants are going to help alleviate some of those costs as well. And now we have a major foreign policy problem in Colombia. Trump's decision to cut off United States of America aid to Colombia is a big deal. So this is what happened. In mid-October 2025, President Trump announced that the U.S. is going to halt payments and subsidies to Colombia and slapping on new tariffs. He accuses President Gustavo Petro of being an illegal drug leader. Colombia fired back. They recalled their ambassador and calls it an insult to their sovereignty. So why does this matter for the U.S. and Colombia relations? Colombia has been a key ally for decades. They fought the cartels, aided in peace deals, stabilized that region, and cutting funds risks undermining those programs and driving Colombia towards other global players. The announcement came days after the U.S. struck and hit a Colombian rebel boat in the Caribbean waters, fueling the tensions. You know, the boats that were blowing up, we know who they are. So without U.S. aid funds and rural aid, an anti-drug project could collapse. Terrorists are going to hurt Colombia coffee and AG exports, and the vacuum could invite China and Russia to step in. So those are the negatives. The White House calls it tough love. That's how Trump is, guys. He's just saying they're hurting the wrong people, and it weakens the Americans' influence. Other Latin leaders are watching. If Colombia, our longtime partner, gets cut off, that's going to send a message to Peru, to Ecuador, and Chile. It's going to let them know, we're watching you. So make sure you're doing the right thing as far as the U.S. is concerned, because we help these guys by funding them and giving them United States dollars. Colombia is going to stand their ground right now. But I think in the long run, they're going to cave because, look, guys, it's Colombia, and we're the United States. And we help fund a lot of money for their projects in those countries. And if they don't start doing it and start bringing down the cartels in those countries, because we all know Colombia is a big cartel place, whether the president is running a show or not. But this has got to happen. If Trump is going to make this stuff work and get rid of the drugs that are pouring into the United States, it starts in these countries, and they have to start policing themselves. If they don't start policing themselves and stop the drugs from leaving their countries to come into the United States, these are the terms that Trump has put forth, and he's not messing around. I hope Colombia wakes up and realizes they need us a lot more than we ever will need them. Well, that's it for today. Join me next time for a little chit chat, some observations, and some good old-fashioned conversation. Thanks.